By the third week, the arena stopped pretending to be kind. The excitement burned away first, then comfort, then certainty. What remained was something leaner, sharper. The writers moved through the Inferno now with the strange silence of people who had crossed too far inward to explain themselves to anyone standing outside the fire. The easy conversations were gone. The bragging had finished. Even the banners hanging above the arena walls seemed quieter somehow, their colours dim beneath the weight of the mountain shadows. The squires no longer looked like squires. The knights had stopped questioning whether they belonged here. The champions carried themselves like survivors of small invisible wars, personal battles they dare not recall. And the heroes had begun speaking to their stories as if they were living things. Maverick noticed all of it from the Founder's balcony high above the sands of the arena. The dragon chalice burned brighter now. It was no longer glowing. It was set ablaze, overflowing with raw genius and excellent wordcrafting. Veins of molten crimson pulsed beneath the dark scales of the ancient vessel, each heartbeat of light answering another flood of words entering the ledger below. The scribes could barely keep pace anymore. Entire stacks of pages had become accumulating around the chalice like offerings left at the feet of some forgotten god. And perhaps they were. Old legends claim the chalice did not feed on ink, it fed on becoming. Every sentence written within the Inferno arena carried a fragment of the soul that created it. Fear, longing, grief, memory, hunger. Tiny pieces of human truth poured into the vessel line by line until the chalice grew warm enough to wake what slept beneath the mountain. Most people assumed that was a metaphor, a legend to scare babes who strayed too far from the thighs of their mothers. But most people never stood in the arena at midnight and heard something breathing beneath the sand and stone. A low horn echoed suddenly through the Colosseum. The sound rolled across the arena slowly, heavy enough to rattle dust from the ancient arches overhead. Conversations died immediately. Every eye lifted toward the northern wall. The second door stirred. For 2 weeks it had remained sealed beneath layers of black iron and enormous chains as thick as tree trunks. Older members of the guild avoided looking at it directly when they passed. It stung the eyes. Even the arena attendants spoke near it in lowered voices. Now the chains were moving. The grinding of metal against stone filled the arena like distant thunder. Writers stood slowly from their tables, awestruck. Some closed their books, others laid pen onto paper. One or two whispered unfinished lines beneath their breath before turning toward the door as though reluctant to abandon the worlds they had been building. Maverick descended the long staircase from the Founder's balcony without speaking, unnoticed. The crowd parted for him instinctively, not from word or command, but because the Inferno had already begun changing them. At the centre of the arena, he stopped beside the dragon chalice. Its crimson light painted fire across the sharp edges of his face.
The first door tested whether your stories could survive the blaze,
He said quietly. His voice carried effortlessly through the arena.
The second test, whether you can.
The chains groaned louder. Somewhere deep behind the door, ancient mechanisms awakened with violent shudders. Heat spilled outward through the cracks in the iron seals, dry and glowing furnace hot, carrying the faint scent of old parchment that was burned at its edges. Maverick rested one hand against the chalice. The vessel answered instantly. The entire arena darkened. Then the dragon chalice flared, a golden flame. The golden flame of the Den of Heroes. For one impossible moment, Words appeared inside the firelight swirling above the cup. Fragmented sentences, declarations of love, lines written by trembling hands at 3 a.m, by people trying desperately to become something more than they had been yesterday. Stories, thousands of them, alive. The crowd stared in silence.
I always believed that a good story could outlast kingdoms.
Maverick said softly.
I believed a single sentence written honestly enough could survive longer than any monument.
The Ember King gazed at the door.
But even House Dragon learned there are stories powerful enough to break the people who carry them.
The arena fell still. That sentence lingered strangely in the air. Not everyone missed the implication. The sundering. No one spoke of it directly, not fully. Mistress Clara Sue's library of higher learning held entire volumes that told conflicting histories that disagreed too violently. Some tests ended abruptly where the records should have begun. Others contradicted one another so completely it felt intentional, as though someone had reached backward through time and shattered the truth into pieces. But everyone knew the result. Captain Noctilus told stories to those in the Kraken common room about how House Dragon had fallen, embellished by sea shanties and old wives' tales. Yet something beneath the arena had survived it. The second door opened, a slow creak revealing a void of nothingness, as though it had opened 1,000 times before and knew it would open 1,000 times again. Darkness waited beyond it. Then 4 figures stepped forward into the firelight. The remaining founders. The air inside the arena changed immediately. It now felt older, charged with a magic only time could refine and amplify. Clara Sue, the founder of House Phoenix, carried flame in her eyes and sorrow in the corners of her smile. Captain E.M.G. Noctilus, the founder of House Kraken, moved like deep water beneath moonlight, slow and unreadable. Bill, the Boblin of mighty House Cerberus, stood broad-shouldered and iron-still, his gaze hard enough to sharpen iron against. And Megan Banrion and Dulra, the queen of nature of noble House Unicorn, looked almost human until you met her eyes and realised she had seen too many beautiful things to ever fully belong among ordinary people again. The destined around the arena fell silent. Even breathing felt too loud suddenly. Bill the Boblin stepped forward first.
What lays beyond the final door?
He said.
Does not forgive weakness, nor unfinished truths.
Captain Noctilus added. Clara Sue lowered her burning gaze toward the gathered challengers.
Many have reached this point before you.
A long pause followed. Then Clara Sue finished quietly.
Very few have survived what came after.
The dragon chalice pulsed once more beside Maverick. The floor shook as something deep beneath the mountain answered. The Queen of Nature lifted her head, a look of dissatisfaction in her eyes.
Face us, Chosen, as your final task to test if you are truly ready for what comes next.